One major fight is going to decide this match without a shadow of a doubt. There's the headshot. Needs one more.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Guns of Boom Season 2 Summer Challenges Series. It's week number 4 and things are getting heating up as we've got only a few weeks left to go. I am Lethal and Falcone, where is he? Because I've not seen him for the last few minutes and... Oh, mate. Thank you. That is a sick cake.
Birthday, dear Harry.
Cheers, mate.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah, it's Harry's birthday today, if anyone didn't get that.
Yeah, I'm actually not 31. I'm actually 21, just to let everyone know.
I'd have believed it. You did just say that you're 31.
Yeah, I kind of let the cat out of the bag there pretty much, didn't I?
Look at this cake, though. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? I'm just going to show it again for anyone that missed it. The lovely production team. It would be so bad if it just fell off right now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would definitely be in Stream Fail, I think.
Lovely production team got you that because they knew it was your birthday, even before I did. So I need to raise my chair up again a little bit. This is a recurring thing, isn't it? Whoops!
But no, it's been a great season so far, outside my birthday anyway. But, you know, things are shaping up now. We've got a few weeks left, and it should be quite interesting as the remaining cups pan out.
But has it been a great birthday so far? I think that's what everybody really wants to know.
Well, this is the thing. I've got a choice. If I go out and partying or, you know, do a Guns of Boom Cup, well, of course I want to be here, you know.
Of course you choose Guns of Boom.
Exactly.
We want to see some of these epic matches. Harry, I'm sad that I missed last week, but you, Kaplan, did a great job with the European broadcast. And you were telling me that it went a little bit differently to usual. Let's take a look at the standings and see what story this has to tell.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one. So Back-to-Back and Lazarus were in the semi-finals against Knights of Honor and Infinity. But the weird thing is both Back-to-Back and Lazarus did lose their matches and play against each other in the third place playoff. Whilst that happened, Knights of Honor and Infinity played against each other in the grand final, with Knights of Honor taking that and helping themselves to a nice second place finish in the standings. But Back-to-Back did manage to take down Lazarus, and we've got something to talk about Lazarus later on.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, it has to be said, just based on these standings and, you know, all the conversations we were having in Brazil about how Lazarus are the best that Europe has to offer, their score this season is quite disappointing.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise. You know, the first couple of weeks, they seem to be really strong, really good. But, you know, at the moment, they're playing with John Wick instead of Divine Kings. So, of course, with a lineup change like that over the coming weeks, it is very difficult to kind of like adjust and kind of... That little honeymoon period again, they've played with him before, but, you know, John Wick will just have to make sure to try and step in Divine King's shoes, and it's a big pair of shoes he's got to fill.
Let's take a look at today's bracket, though, and see what games are coming up for the European part of today's broadcast. First up is going to be Back-to-Back up against Infinity, and then Lazarus up against Knights of Honor later on. So, if memory serves, because I have a very bad memory, we just saw the top of the standings was Infinity and Knights of Honor. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
So they could be meeting in the finals again, but I think Lazarus are going to be trying to put a stop to that.
Yeah, so Back-to-Back's in first place at the moment. Knights of Honor second, Lazarus third, and Infinity, I think, at fourth, I believe. But
okay.
I swear, this is the exact, almost the exact same bracket we had last time. We had Lazarus and Back-to-Back on opposite ends of the semi-finals with Infinity and Knights of Honor playing against each other. Now, I can't remember if Knights of Honor played Back-to-Back and Infinity played Lazarus, or if it's actually the exact way round. But again, this is two semi-finals we are, you know, literally blessed with at the moment. You know, it's going to be a really, really good show in this EU region.
It shows how tight-knit everything is in Europe for Guns of Boom at the moment, how close everything is, and that makes it very exciting. I know that when I last left you, we had a pretty clear favoured team in the Americas region. We're going to be checking those out a little bit later. I'm not sure exactly what happened last week. We didn't have a broadcast, sadly. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Gentrix and the gang can do later on tonight.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, with the NA region, with Gentrix and the boys, you know, Aerial, Corrupt, Corrupt and Venom, those guys have been an absolute tear. We will see that later on, and we'll see if they can continue their path of destruction, which they've left behind in the NA scene for the last few months. And with Enix and Epic as well, there's been that fight for second place. That's another big thing to talk about later on. But back to the EU region, not really too many surprises, but it's nice to see a nice element of consistency, because we've seen the same four teams in the semi-finals last week and this week. So you can see these four teams are really going at it to try and get those top two spots for Pro Series.
Right. It's like there's a very clear divide, isn't there? Like you've got the top four teams who They're constantly trying to get this little edge over each other, and previously we considered Lazarus the best, but right now it doesn't seem to be going that way. That's a little bit jumbly. That's a little bit less consistent than I think the very top of the Americas scene. But like you said, I mean, what's very cool is that we do have these top 4 teams that seem to be up there every single time without fail, and I think that's quite exciting.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, with the...
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
No,
They've
exactly.
made it, but you don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because before, like, in EU regions in the past weeks, or maybe in past seasons, you always see some other teams, like, coming up in the top 4 instead. It wasn't random, it's just the fact that the skill gap was so tight, you couldn't really establish which teams were going to go across. But this is the first time in a long time we've seen the same top 4 teams in the semi-finals again, and then we're going to find out going into this first match shortly.
Harry, your birthday cake is really distracting me.
It is, I know. I want to just...
You should have a little bit of that chocolate.
I might try during the first map. But the first map is underway. The first map will be Military Warehouse, and we're going to see what the guys can do here, especially with back-to-back with that first place standing.
But wow, the action hotting up straight away as back-to-back with the dual grenades there. Double elimination there by Gonza already. Yep, that was quite the solid start, but they really went for that. 2 grenades being used right from the get-go.
Yeah, Nokia now is quite weak, but he's going to try and go for the flank anyway. A little bit of an unorthodox play from him, but Massive and Hayo managed to get an elimination off their own. Nokia goes in and gets a double Blade Master somehow, whilst he was so weak. Killing Machine managed to complement that with a snipe, but now to still keeping him at bay and keeping that lead.
Killing Machine really low on health there. Does get taken down by Stason. Stason gets taken down by Gonza though, as it looks like things are going a little bit back and forth now, but back-to-back got that early lead, and they're going to be using that to try and keep just ahead on points as Migs there didn't quite take down ahead. I think Killing Machine got the elim, and a little bit of a pause there before the action.
No, that's understandable, because they were both in a stalemate situation, waiting for each other to make the first move, but it looks like back-to-back will do. Managed to get 3 on the board, another double elimination for Nokia, almost a triple. Sadly gets taken down, but again, just increasing that lead further and further, and Infinity are just struggling to get back this map control from the side of back-to-back.
Nokia really on the ball this game, almost 100 points to himself as Migs runs around the corner, does get the Blade Master on Deadly. I thought he was walking into a trap there, and he's still going to go for it, low on health, but trying to find out another opponent, but Hale appears behind him and does get that elimination.
Nice double elimination from Hale. It almost managed to get a triple, but I suppose technically he does consider he managed to get that trade off as well. But Deadly, yeah, no, I think so as well. I think he pretty much got it. I'll class it as one anyway. Yeah. But with Deadly, with Blade Master now, he's just going to stay back and try and replenish his health just a little bit, but he's been caught off guard. Migs didn't actually realise he was there. Still managed to take him down, but he will get taken down shortly. Hopefully, yes, he will. Killing Machine will get the trade there.
Killing Machine going to get a very easy elim on Massive there. Still on full health. Does take down Hale as well. That's a triple elimination. We missed the first elim there, I think, but triple. Very impressive indeed. He's still sitting on full health. He can easily turn that into an elimination streak.
Definitely, they'll add more tally to the points on the board as back-to-back on an absolute tear at the moment, winning by 170 points, and they're not stopping. Look how aggressive Nokia is, just pushing around behind him. Fair play to him, because it's very risky, but at the same time, if you've got 2 members down of Infinity, you might as well do the best you can to make him suffer in that base on spawn. But so far, so good. Stasser managed to get a snipe of his own, but I don't think there's too much they can do here, considering that point gap.
Yeah, and you know what? It's G-launch time as well. Nokia got that out. Didn't quite get an elim with it, but dealt some serious damage. And like you said, the point gap is too severe now. 140 points ahead, back-to-back find themselves, and it's just, what, 3 elims away from winning the game? It's not going to take very long at all, as Nokia does get the Blade Master on Stason. 4 points to go, and then they win the game.
Yeah, it looks like it will be a back-to-back win. It's a matter of how they're going to do it. But a double elimination from Massive is going to try and help him out a little bit. Oh, that was so close, but almost got a triple, but Deadly Masters take that away from him anyway. But
come back. No,
it's possible, but I think this next wave is when back-to-back are really going to get a frag down and finish this off. As he goes in, takes it down, and that's map number 1 already for back-to-back.
I don't think that was actually possible, Harry. I think we were just trying to build up some hope there for a very behind team. No, that was quite the definitive start for back-to-back there. A lot of work needs to be done now for Infinity to come back from that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. Of course, I think it's more back-to-back, learnt from the mistakes. I think on the side of Infinity, they were quite passive. I think they're used to the fact that normally it turns into a stalemate situation straight after every wave, but they kind of stayed in their base too much. But when you've got players like Nokia flanking round like so quickly, no matter what kind of replenished health he has, just to cause havoc, really. And it's not too bad because some players or some teams normally are used to where, you know, if they get taken down 3 or 4 down, then they expect on Military Warehouse to have one of them to wait around the corner to get that first shot with the Avalanche or Porcupine, normally the Avalanche. But it just wasn't be the case, you know. Like I said before, players like Nokia would just be like, you know what, I'm just going to go straight in and try and get behind them ASAP. Very, very risky, though, but it worked out in the end.
Military Warehouse encourages a very different type of Guns of Boom gameplay, though, doesn't it? Because you keep getting those stalemates where suddenly the middle of the map is empty, maybe a player goes around one side, the other players are going around the other side, someone runs through the middle. Like it's very weird. I don't want to say slower paced gameplay because it's like slower 1 second and then really, really fast the next second. What's going to happen? And then slow down again. That's Military Warehouse, and it's quite exciting. But I'm looking forward to seeing maybe if Infinity can have a better shot on a control point or King of the Hill map.
Yeah, we'll have to see how things pan out because you're right though. Because on some of the TDMs, it can be stalemate, it can be very hectic on a lot of times, which is perfectly understandable because it's trying to wait for that opening frag to make the push and then to execute whatever strat you want to pull off and then figure out what to do afterwards. But yeah, it is control point and it looks like it could go towards. I'm swerving towards back to back just because that pure aggression, and you can tell they want this more than anything. They don't want to go to claim once. They want to go twice.
They won that by quite a landslide.
Yeah.
So like there's pretty good reason to be swerving towards back to back. But we will see. There's still a lot of time for Infinity to take this back. I think we're in for a good series. I'm hoping we're not in for a 2-0.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, though. Like, it is looking that way. Like, it could be one of those situations where sometimes they'll fall off after that first map and then the second map will go in their favour anyway. It's quite rare you normally see 2-1s in a best of 3, but it depends on the control point we actually play on. But from what I've seen so far, like, there was absolutely no fear on this back-to-back side at all. Like, before in last week's Cup, it was a bit strange because they were kind of mixing up between their playstyles, but you've seen a very fluid playstyle compared to what we saw last week. But when you actually go to Atrium, if they get full control and trip cap, then that's where either team, maybe Infinity, will really struggle here.
All right, let's get this one going as Nokia runs straight A. He's going to fight against Mastiff, but does lose that opening fight. Meanwhile, Gonza takes down Hale. Stason, they're just trading back and forth in each control point, as it looks like Infinity have managed to claim A, but back-to-back have claimed C. And now the fight for B begins.
That was very dangerous there. Massive managed to get a double earlier, but tried to get more to complement that. That wasn't the case. Only got one frag behind him, but great job for Infinity so far. They managed to get a lot of frags on, but...
Back-to-back have got it, though. They've got the point. They've managed to secure the point, and it's not been touched in quite a few seconds. That's significant.
Yeah, it is. They've got both points so far. They both went for B straight away because they noticed the hardest one to take back, and what a play that was to make by them. But now we'll have to see what Infinity can do here as the members of back-to-back will be respawning.
He does lose to Killing Machine there. Mastiff takes down Deadly, and now looks like they might be going for B, as now just back-to-back just swarmed them at point B. They are not letting that one go. They did lose A. Okay, that's not a big deal. They're going to get that back. If they can keep hold of B for this whole game, which it looks like that's their top priority, they're going to be in a very good spot. They're already over 130 points in the lead.
Yeah, we've seen back-to-back doubles here from Nokia, then Killing Machine, and then Massive, as you saw straight afterwards. But now we can see what Nokia can do here, just keeping him bay as much as he can. Managed to take him down with a slimmer of health before he gets taken down from there. And Massive with elimination streak, which is really going to help the side of Infinity here. But sadly for him, there was a double on the side of back-to-back.
3 members of Infinity holding down B as Nokia tried to mow them down. And now Gonza joining in. They are doing such a good job of defending this point. Every single time Infinity look like they're trying to get it down. It's like 2 or 3 members of back-to-back just appear again and take it. Is Hale going to manage to do it this time?
Yeah, it's crazy stuff so far. Well, I hope so, considering the circumstances. You're right about them mowing down. Literally, back-to-back have just been getting the lawnmower out for the entire course of the time. And even though Infinity have been getting a lot of the frags, like back-to-back have had B and C for so long, but now they can have B and A possibly if they don't stop this. But a triple elimination from Migs. it's definitely going to help things further for back-to-back, and Infinity could be close but done here.
It's the same old story over and over again, Harry. Every single time Infinity look like that point B is starting to move in their favor. Several members of back-to-back appear and take them down. Something needs to change in this game, and very fast, if Infinity want to have any shot of winning this one. Only 80 points left for back-to-back.
Yeah, I saw one of the flanks coming from back-to-back then, but it didn't succeed, sadly. But Infinity are going to try and do everything they can. I feel like they need to at least trip cap this in order to try and get to the comeback here. They have to, but at this point, it's not going to happen. Back-to-back take map number 2 and the series into the grand final.
Yeah, Harry, that was even more of a stomp than the last
It was.
game. You said that you knew who was going to, or you were swerving towards them winning. It's like, yeah, okay, sure.
I had a feeling.
I want to try and give the viewers a little bit of hope for some more fierce competition, but no, it has to be said, that was quite an impressive performance from back-to-back. Like I was saying a moment ago, every single time it looked like Infinity might be starting to get point B. Back-to-back was just on top of them. And I guess that's the advantage of claiming the middle point in a map like this. Like, it's just so much easier to defend it.
Yeah, B's the easiest to defend by far on that map. And sometimes when you see some teams go for it straight away, it's a big risk due to the fact that if you do let them get A and C, then it's a bit of a slugfest and how messy it can be. Because, it's so open, and because you spawn right in front of it, it's very easy to try and stop them from taking it back. You can contest it, get more points from contesting it in general. And it just makes life so much harder. But big play for Massive. I do actually want to call out Massive as well, because he did do some great plays. He got so many frags on the board as well, but it just wasn't enough, as for at least 3 members of back-to-back were just showing such pure spectacle, I'd say, for that whole map.
Yeah, pure spectacle, absolutely. I mean, looking at the points here, Gonza, I believe, had the most there with 203, if the little monitor in the corner of my eye helping me out there is correct. Nokia had Killing Machine had the fewest points, but Killing Machine did a lot of work in the first game. They are a team that just had everything going together, and it'll be exciting to see if they can take down the other team later on in the finals, whoever they may be.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Back-to-back have really shown today, but as soon as I saw in that first map, there was like no fear and just full-on aggression. That's when I thought, on a map like Atrium, where you kind of need that, it kind of like changes things up massively. So that's why I kind of swerved towards them, just due to the fact that a map like Atrium definitely favours back-to-back in comparison.
I just noticed your birthday cake has disappeared.
It has, yeah. It's back in the fridge, actually, so we can actually eat it later.
That is a great idea. Well, like your birthday cake, we are going to go on a very short break to cool down, and we'll be back with more Guns of Boom European action after this. Welcome back to Guns of Boom, where I may or may not have hiccups.
Just a little bit.
So bear with me. Don't listen to Harry's lies, by the way. It's not because, despite the fact he warned me it was a bad idea, it's not because during the break I went and had some pizza, which had jalapenos on it, and it was a little bit hot.
Okay.
I get hiccups when I get hot. It's not. Don't listen to Harry's lies. That's not what just happened.
Yeah, I'm maybe a nice person, but I know a lie when I see it. So.
What have we got coming up next, Harry?
We've got a great match coming up. We've got Lazarus versus Knights of Honor, and these two teams, it's a slugfest between the two due to the fact that they're second and third respectively. So whoever wins between these two will most probably be in that second place spot again, considering the circumstances. But right now, Lazarus needs to win it, because if they don't, it just means that Knights of Honor are just going to end up increasing their league in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it the top two places that get a position in the next tournament?
Yeah, it's the same as before, I believe. So it's top two from NA, top two from EU, one from LATAM and one from SCA. But the problem is the fact that with their two spots being available and, you've got Lazarus and Knights of Honor kind of find it back and forth, they're going to feel like now it's only the second place, which is one of the main opportunities they can go for, because back-to-back have now guaranteed themselves in the grand finals a decent amount of points to increase their lead even further in the standings. And it looks like back-to-back are just going to go full ahead with it and increase it further. So I think these two now realise that it could come to the case where it's that second spot which is absolutely necessary here.
All right, elephant in the room time. Lazarus, John Wick. What's going on here, Harry?
I'll be honest, I don't know the full story of exactly what's been going on, but I know that Divine King will be playing with him at Gods of Boom next week, which is the main thing, but John Wick is going to be playing with him for the remaining weeks, I believe. Now, they've played with John Wick before, which is fair enough, but in terms of schedule and how they actually practice and scrim, it must be very difficult for them, because they've got to practice with one player for the Cups, which is very important because they need to go to Pro Series in Cologne in end of August, or for the Gods of Boom, which is next week. So I believe they are going to focus on the Cups, but the only problem is the fact that, well, the good thing is the fact that once Gods of Boom is out of the way, they can focus with John Wick to try and do the remaining Cups following in July. But it's now a time where John Wick really needs to fill those shoes of Divine King, because Divine King's a very good player, and it makes you wonder what they can do with John Wick. I know John Wick's a good player as well, but how well he can quickly mesh with his team again is another story.
Well, here we go. Let's jump into the first game of this series and see if John Wick can pick it up, if Lazarus can do a little bit better this week compared to last.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do here, but already now, that's not the start you want, as Notorious has a triple elimination and it's 4 down for Lazarus already, so we now need to see how Lazarus can get off spawn here.
Yeah, that's not the start that Lazarus wanted, although now it's comeback time. Knights of Honor have the lower health, so it's push, push, push. They haven't made as much of a comeback as you'd expect, though, and wow, T-Mac with the G-Launcher does assist Dobar in getting that double elim.
Yeah, that was a perfect blast radius from there. You couldn't ask for a better G-Launcher even if you asked. And as you saw Dejani there with a double of his own, maybe looking for that triple, but I don't think it's going to be the case. But Romeo gets a double of his own here. Oh! Triple, and he does get a triple. Managed to stay alive in the process, but instead he stands out and still gets all that damage done to T-Mac as Excellence finishes him off.
Romeo being a real standout here. Even more damage there. Dobar does get a double elim with the G-Launcher there, though, so that's, pushing themselves forward that little bit further. And now with Lord Mano getting taken down by Jani, Knights of Honor are just solidifying that lead.
Yeah, increasing their lead slowly but surely, but Lazarus are finding a way to come back here. They just need to take their time a little bit and just work out what the best way is to try and get around them. But as I said that, they've done exactly what I asked. 34-point gap between the two teams now, but Notorious is sitting back with that sniper. Ooh. Double for himself. He's going to maybe try and go for that triple if he can, if someone else does push in front of him, and he does! Gets to a triple elimination. One more for that 4 at once, but Dobar sadly steals it away from him. But it doesn't matter. The damage has been done.
They're so far ahead now. Again, considering that this is TDM, yes, okay, Lazarus can make a bit of a comeback now. If they can maybe get a triple or something, maybe they can get just about enough points, as John Wick does take down T-Mac there. 70 points behind. John Wick going to come around this corner. Can he get up behind Dobar? No, Dobar gets the double elim there. Jani also gets a double elim following that up. And it looks like Knights of Honor have all but got this one locked down. Yeah,
4 down again. Now Lazarus are stuck on spawn once more. Johnny's going to try and get a G-Launcher there, which he does get the damage done, but doesn't get the frag finished. But Exodus and Romeo do manage to clean up anyway, but it's going to be extremely closer. But Dobar managed to finish one off now with a double of his own, and it's only 1, maybe 2 more frags. until this map is over. And it is over. Knights of Honor take map number 1 very convincingly.
Dobar taking down John Wick at the end there. Lazarus need to put it together. This is not the team that we are used to seeing. Obviously, again, there's a few complications without Divine King and with John Wick as well being... I guess in a game like Guns of Boom, when you do have a substitute, it really does increase the strain of the team, the communication, and sort of everything, all of your synergies and everything. You have to start from scratch to accommodate the new player, let the new player do what they want to do, and twist yourselves to kind of fit around that. It's got to be hard.
It's very difficult. In my opinion, like when you do have like a substitute or you have someone who you've just been working with, which we have seen the last couple of weeks, it's very hard just due to the fact that when it comes to your coordination, to your pushes and how you execute certain parts of the site or how you actually try and flank around, it does slow down a lot more because when you've had someone on your team for the last like at least a year now, and then you play with someone else who is very good, but it may not match the style, that's where things can go down a little bit lower than you expect. But we'll have to see what happens because it's only map number 1. Lazarus are a kind of team where maybe after map 2 they can maybe try and sort themselves out a little bit, but it's very hard to call. But Knights of Honor has been shown to be so strong, especially what we saw from last week.
Yeah, I mean, we're just being consistently surprised, I think it's fair to say, by how things in the top 4 players have been mixed up in the EU. Yes, the first series did go pretty much as we expected with the 2-0 there, with back-to-back taking down Infinity, again, back-to-back formerly Noble, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
to keep up with the team name changes. Yeah, Noble were always a very powerful team within Guns of Boom. That's no surprise. But the Noble versus Lazarus rivalry that we had up until now seems to be slipping by the wayside. Lazarus need to be winning. We want to see them come in second. We want to see them compete in Pro Series Cologne.
You see, they need to reverse sweep this now. If they don't, the next 2 weeks is going to be a real struggle for them, just due to the fact that, due to the standings, if they even drop to 4th or something like that, then, you know, they'll end up playing back-to-back at future semi-finals. But as we spoke about that now, we're going to go straight on to Atrium for map number 2 to see if Lazarus can reverse sweep or if Knights of Honor can clean this up 2-0.
Notorious makes the first strike there, but Lord Mano runs straight onto point C. Does look like he's successfully going to capture it. Knights of Honor, though, they've got point B locked down. We may have a repeat of last game unless Lazarus can get point B back very quickly. Double elimination there from Excellency, though. This is a much stronger start for them than what we saw previously.
Yeah, this is a much better story, absolutely right there. And you saw a quick draw from Romeo to get some extra points on the board. T-Mac managed to get that B point now, so it's going to make things very difficult here for Lazarus. But as I said that, Manu took 1 down, but that's 3 down now for Lazarus, 4 down now, and it's going to be very difficult here as they try and push out.
Romeo gets the explosive, though, does get the double in by taking down Shiny. Can he get the triple on Dobar? No! He takes him out with the Blade Master. Lazarus really need to get some of these points knocked down. They've only got A. They've only had A all game. This is going to be a repeat of the game between back-to-back and Infinity earlier, unless Lazarus can do something about point B. Shani on his own there, low health, can take point A.
Now, I can understand that. You might as well go for the complete opposite one, just to be that thorn in the boot in that kind of aspect. But already 2 down now for Lazarus, 3 down now as Dobar takes off another player there. But look, he's just trying to stay alive. Is he going to get B? He is. He still managed to get B and stood alive as much as he could, and that's such an important play.
All right, Mano, though, and Excellency going to try and get B. The G-Launcher misses Mano as he takes down Jani. 2 members of Knights of Honor appear, and okay, the point B's been shut down. Looks like that is still remaining in Knights of Honor's grasp.
And as you can see now, B and C slowly being taken, but Lazarus are contesting for the point, but the Johnny there, the Blade Master, and Dobar with one of his own as well. But as they were just about to take B, it's now been contested again by Knights of Honor. And it looks like there may be a possibility they could get that back, and it looks like they may not actually. It's going to get contested again. 4
down for Knights of Honor as Lazarus finally pull it together and do get a team wipe. Mano helps out there in claiming point B. If they can keep hold of this, this might be the comeback that Lazarus needed.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed, more than anything here, but Notorious has stopped that with a double of his own. Dobar managed to get 1, so that's 3 down again for Lazarus as it was going so well, but it's understandable with that next wave. They just couldn't stay alive long enough. But the main thing is they have actually caught up. There's only just 100 points behind, and they can definitely make something happen here.
And it gets C. Romeo pushing B, does get taken out by T-Mac. And now the battle for B is really hotting up here. as 3 down for Lazarus. Is Romeo getting taken out as well? He is. Triple elimination and elimination streak from Dobar there as he completely carries the team into locking down point B one more, potentially final time.
Yeah, this could be all but done here. Lazarus needs to get a trip cap and a force out here. If they don't, then I think it's all said but done. Due to the point restraint now, 40 points left remaining for Knights of Honor. Looks like this will be a 2-0 as long as they keep them at bay, and they have done. That's Knights of Honor with a map number 2 win and the series to close out to go to that grand final.
Yep. Again, a little bit disappointed to see Lazarus taken out so fast. That would have been very cool to get to the third. I don't even really mind which team won. It would have just been cool to go to game 3. However, that game was really exciting.
It was, yeah. You know, Lazarus did try and make a comeback. There was some great plays from them. They managed to survive another wave at one stage, which is what I thought could be the turning point. But it sadly wasn't the case. But look at that, Dejani there. 21 frag contribution from him. And he only went +1. He did so much assist. He did so much damage dealt as well across the board. And Romeo, again, another great play. Did some great plays for himself. 19 frag contribution for him. T-Mac, even though he went 5-11, he got a lot of damage done for his team, which was absolutely necessary. But T-Mac made some of those vital plays, which you probably didn't see in the stats department, but when he managed to grab B or C in some areas where he did it on his own, that was absolutely huge.
Dobar 12-5 there in limbs versus deaths. So, and he seemed to be there in all of the right circumstances. You know, the triple limbs, picking them up, didn't have many assists, but I think that may be because the team was setting him up to make those eliminations, to get those big points. Yeah, I mean, that was a very cool game. I think it was well played on both sides, but again, on Atrium, it does seem to be that point B. Once one of the teams gets that at the beginning, if they can just hold on to it, because I don't think we ever saw Lazarus take that back.
Yeah, they're very close a lot of times, but the problem is the fact that once you've actually got it, you can contest it all you want. You may get +5 for every time you try and contest it, but it's so difficult, like I mentioned before. It's so open, the mid part of the map, and also on top of that, you know, you spawn right in front. There's only a tiny, tiny bit of cover you can behind one of the poles, or maybe like a couple of very small boxes, but apart from that, it's very, very difficult to try and at least grab that back, especially when the team have already got it. That's why I always feel like when someone's got B straight away, that's when you kind of think to yourself, okay, that's not the best of starts you'd really want.
All right, you know the drill by now. We're going to go. I'm not going to have a slice of pizza, and we'll be back with the third place match very soon. Infinity are about to face up to Lazarus in our third place match. And things are getting really interesting. Lazarus has to win this one if they want any chance of qualifying for Pro Series Cologne.
Yeah, every point counts here. They're so close between the two of them. They now need to reset their mentality, try and win this. But Infinity need it more than Lazarus here. So it's going to be for a battle of who actually wants it more. It is a best of 5 this time round. But yeah, Lazarus are looking more to have the potential to qualify here from what I've seen from Infinity compared to the previous week. But yeah, Lazarus really, really need to step this up.
I mean, I think every single game that Lazarus play, including this third place match, with John Wick rather than Divine King, I think every single game is important. Every single game is practice. And I'm sure they're scrimming, you know, when they're not in the tournaments anyway. They're working as hard as they possibly can to pick up that synergy. But it takes some time, you know, and they need to keep working on that.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, there's different types of experience you can have. You can have tournament experience, LAN experience, online experience, or like online tournament. There's lots of different experiences you can actually have to try and work upon here. But our first map will be Skyscrapers here, and we're going to see exactly how things pan out from the start and which of these teams will take map number 1 here.
Mastiff there with the double elimination. Is he going to get the triple on Romeo? Yes, he does get the triple straight away at the start of the game. That is exactly what Infinity want to see. He's going to try and find the elimination streak, try and stay a little bit safe, a little bit healthy, does heal back up. But,
yeah,
there you go, he gets it.
Here. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Massive already on the tier with a double of his own. Almost went for the triple as well. Massive really feeling it. Even in that last game, we saw him do so well.
Already on 76 points.
I know, that's absolutely ridiculous. Especially for a TDM like Skyscrapers as well. He's just not messing about here to start off with. But Lazarus aren't really too far behind. They're still only about 42 points behind. I'm sure they can do something from here. But John Wick managed to get a frag behind. Managed to get a double of his own. So at least they're catching up a little bit and just barely overtaken.
Yeah, that is what you want to see. Does get taken out there by Excellency. As Excellency gonna see what Stathon's doing instead. He's gonna come in behind Romeo by the looks of things, as Deadly takes down Romeo and Excellency with a double on him. Lord Mallow gonna take on Hale there, but Hale gets that sniper headshot. Not much in this game.
No, not at all. It's Skyscrapers, you normally see it quite a lot go back and forth. It's just one of those maps really. You can't really tell it apart here, but 7 points between these two teams. Now Lazarus finally taking the lead, but how long will it be? Because Romeo needs to try and stay alive here. And they do have info. They know that there is 2 members top mid, both really weak. It's just a matter of how to take them out and then push around to the bottom, but it's not the case. As every time they find a little bit of info, they get another member of the Lazarus squad go bottom mid and try and sort things out, and they have done. Mano somehow managed to stay alive, which won't be anymore, as Stassin managed to clean up.
All chaos just broke loose there.
It literally did.
Yes, as there Deadly takes that Excellency. He's going to run around the corner behind Lord Mano by the looks of things. As Hale gets a double elim on Romeo and John Wick. Lord Mano does take down Hale and end that streak as Lord Mano and Stason are sort of facing off. Stason going to run around behind though and help out Deadly take out Excellency. Just about gets the elim there as Lord Mano and the rest of Lazarus just appear in the center room.
Yeah, that top mid control in that centre room is so vital, so important here. You're always going to get that first shot, but Deadly, as you saw there, managed to get a double, but Mano's going to be looking for a double of his own, but Deadly's just keeping him on his toes. Look at that game sense, back and forth, making sure to delay things as much as he could, but Mano finally gets taken behind after the afterburn from the incinerator, but starts with a triple elimination now, just adding insult to injury here, and now I've got a 100-point lead, and it's now all but almost finished.
Yeah, it looks like once again Lazarus are going to get taken down by their opponents as they're so far today looking like the weakest of the top 4 teams in Europe. That is quite a fall from grace for Lazarus.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's definitely on terms of their lineup. I think something's not working out. Something's definitely not right. It just seems like, I'm not too sure if it was because of the fact that they haven't reset their mentality from the semi-final, knowing they lost to the team they needed to beat in order to help themselves progress into that Pro Series qualifier. But now, you know, the question's going to be like, what can Lazarus do here? Like, don't get me wrong, TDMs can be a little bit of a coin flip, so it's not too bad. They've still got at least 3, maybe 4 more maps to try and make a comeback from here.
Yep. And it's certainly doable. They need to work as a team. And again, it's a complicated one. Because they're not playing with their full roster, I'm trying to work out how today's matches implicate them for Gods of Boom next weekend. Gods of Boom being the biggest Guns of Boom tournament that we're going to have in quite a long time. You know, Gods of Boom at ESL One Cologne, that's a big deal. The Lazarus need to be on form for that. And I wonder if them playing with a different teammate for this is going to sort of confuse them a little bit for when they're then back together as a full team next weekend.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. But to be fair, because they've been with Divine King so long, I think they should be all right, to be fair. I think they've been with him for such a long time. They've been with him for over a year. So you kind of don't really lose that chemistry. They may be a bit deflated from these cups, thinking to themselves they may not be able to qualify for Pro Series Germany. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter too much because, you know, if people don't actually know about Guns of Boom so much, we've got 3 different events. We have the main stadium events, which is the Gods of Boom. We do have the live studio events, which is the Pro Series. And we have the Challenger Series, which is here to make sure you can actually qualify for those Pro Series spots. And any new teams and new players who do want to get involved, make sure you do, because even if it's later in the season, the experience is so important and people just don't understand unless they actually get themselves involved. But going back to Lazarus, yeah, you are right. I think there seems to be something not right with their new teammate. It feel like it's just the magic just isn't there. Maybe, like, I could be wrong. They could actually reverse sweep Infinity by, you know, from a caster's curse, of course. But I don't think they're taking priority of anything too much. I think they'll work with Divine King for next week when we do have the Cologne event for the Gods of Boom. But for now, they need to think of the here and now, the present time, to see what's going on.
Well, actually, that's another way of looking at this from a slightly different perspective, is that maybe the reason they're not doing so well this week is because they've not been practicing with John Wick, but because they've been working so hard in preparation for next
This
weekend.
is it, yeah.
Gods of Boom Cologne is the big one. That's the one with the big prize money, you know. This is just a weekly cup. It's important for the Challenger, for the Pro Series qualification, obviously. But at the end of the day, compared to Gods of Boom, which is what the Pro Series thing qualifies them for, that's the big deal. So maybe they've just not been practicing with John Wick because of that. Anyway.
No, to be fair, you're bang on the money there, no pun intended. But as we go into map number 2, we are here in Saloon. And it did used to be one of Lazarus' better maps back in the day. I'm not sure too much of it is now. But so far, Infinity have gone off for a great start. And they've already got that Saloon control there, as you can see.
Yeah, that's not great for Lazarus at all. Just 1 point on this map, which does change things significantly. I expect that point to be flipping back and forth between the teams over and over again. As Mastiff low on health. No way he's going to take down Excellency there. I don't know what he was thinking. But Stayson gets in behind Excellency, does take him down quite easily, and Infinity do have the point right now.
Yeah, Massive was being very aggressive. He was very weak, so he just thought try and get as much damage done as he can.
Romeo was getting slaughtered.
He was, yeah, but Romeo managed to get a double elimination in the process anyway with that G-launcher. Excellence gets one of his own before Deadly trades him out, as you can see. But now Lazarus have the point. This is their opportunity to try and keep him back on spawn as much as they can. And Romeo, I think it was doing a great job trying to keep him back. But what a G-launcher shot from him, as Stacey and Hale managed to trade off back and forth.
Excellency just G-launches the ground there, tries to steal as much damage as he could on his way out. As Lord Mano does take out Deadly, but Stacey gets Lord Mano. John Wick, maybe he can get the point. He does take down Romeo, does take out Hale. Double a limb there from Romeo.
But yeah, but I think someone had a double limb from Infinity side as well. But Mano does clean up as well, so this is their opportunity to try and get something done. But Stassen's been a real pain in the backside, holding that Saloon spot, making sure he's behind the bar and just trying to get as much shots done as he could. And he did the damage anyway. But we've got elimination from Deadly. One more taken down for Romeo. But Hale is in the point and getting the frags, as you can see, as it's being contested.
Yeah, it looked like he was completely undetected for a moment there. Hale does get a double LM there on Excellency and Romeo. As once again, Infinity do find themselves with the point. 3 members still on the point right now. They do take down Lord Mano, and now they could back up, get into those good positions. Hale just sneaks up behind Excellency with the Blade Master there. It doesn't look like Lazarus is going to take this one back, Harry.
No, it doesn't, but I've seen some weird things in the past in Control Point, where with Hale, it's normally set in stone in some ways, but look at this, back and forth now, all the frags. There's no one really separating these two teams, but, you know, Infinity would have been happy about getting the trades back and forth, as long as they get the point, but now Lazarus are going to be happy with the trades. But that was a good play there, as you saw from Mano, just keeping him at bay, getting one down, and a bit more damage done from there, but Massive just going for the hill on his own. Very risky, but Excellence behind the bar, managed to help him out, and John Wick getting the double.
This position here behind are those vending machines?
I think so.
Gets a double in there, just from completely unsuspecting members of Lazarus wandering onto the point. But Lazarus do have the point now. Infinity take it back quite swiftly, though. And this might be the final time the point changes hands, as Infinity are there ready for the attacking Lazarus members. But Lazarus do get the upper hand, and I was wrong. Points flipping over again.
Yeah, Excellence just barely survived, so he's probably got time to get one shot off, or maybe just try and get some damage done with the AR, but so far, Lazarus are creeping up slowly but surely, but Excellence needs to stay alive and get something done with the lack of health he had. And he has done. He managed to get that flank around Piano, managed to do a lot more work than I expected, but this is the turning point here, but sadly it wasn't enough, as Deadly got a double and managed to get the point back now. So I feel like Lazarus have one more wave left in them to try and sort something out for map 2.
This is it, really, the final shot, but Lord Mano looks like he's going to get taken down very quickly. John Wick taken out as well, and Infinity do take the match. That is 2-0. Still got one more game to play, though. It's best out of 5, not best out of 3 for the third place match.
But Lazarus are normally the comeback kings. We have seen him reverse sweep before at live events. We haven't seen him do it too much in online, in an online environment. But so far, like, you know, I can understand what Excellency was doing there. You saw he was behind the piano, he was waiting for them to make the vital push, and when they make the push, you'll flank behind him. And it was a great flank. That was actually one of the best opportunities he could have had, but it just wasn't enough. I'm not really too sure what actually happened there. But as you can see from the stats, it's all gone in the favour of Infinity there.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what Excellency was doing at the time, honestly. Like, it looked like he was just standing still, and I was thinking, I actually wondered if he disconnected, but no. He was just doing a very, very clever slow play where he went round and did find himself behind the back of several of the Infinity players. It was very cool. It wasn't quite enough. But that game, it wasn't a landslide by any means. It was quite close, and I still think Lazarus have a real shot of taking this one back.
Yeah, what Excellency was doing there was two things he could have done. He could either just run out aimlessly and try and get as much damage done and then get taken down, get in that death cycle, have full health and armor, and then push up again, or just wait for that vital play. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much health or armor you have. If you can just get behind him and then get the damage done from there while worrying about getting any 1v1 battles, then it's perfect. But he took the more riskier option. It did pay off for him, but not the rest of his team, because his rest of his team got taken down in the process, sadly.
Yeah, it wasn't on the cards for this one, but still 3 more games if Lazarus can go on a bit of a tear here. Potentially, obviously. I know I say this a lot. I really enjoy watching King of the Hill. I find it fascinating in Guns of Boom. I love how, like, the hard part seems to be getting the hill, and then like when you've got it, you can just sort of step out of the hill, find your positions, and defend it with everything you've got. I really like that. Seeing how Infinity took advantage of that in the last game, how they managed to get these strategic positions around the map. It's just really fascinating to me. I enjoy watching King of the Hill a lot.
Yeah, before Guns of Boom, the last time I commentated a King of the Hill on an FPS title, actually no, I didn't commentate, competed actually, was like back in 2008. So to see King of the Hill actually back and make kind of like a return, so to speak, it's actually great to see, because it's a lot of baiting potential as an objective compared to Control Point.
I mean, it's also a little bit different from other games, at least from what I know, because usually you have to be in the point to score. At least from other games that I've played. But in Guns of Boom, it's more of a just a single control point. I just think it's really interesting.
Oh, you're spot on, yeah. But as we can see here, Infinity, again, another great start from them. They seem to have the upper hand at the beginning every single time. I have to maybe check out their start strategies in the future, but as you can see, Infinity got that B point. It's so vital. Not as vital as the one on Atrium, because at least you've got a little bit of cover here, but nonetheless, it's a great job from them.
Okay, there were some good G-launches there from Hale and from Deadly, but that's 2 G-launches used up. Deadly does get the triple elim from it, though. That's a lot of points. 2 control points under control as well, as Excellency going to try and get A back. Looks like he is completely on his own, so he should manage to do that with Lord Mano Romeo backing him up. But points C and B belong to Infinity quite firmly. Lazarus got a lot of work to do to catch up this game already.
Yeah, I'm really worried about them here. Already a 260-point lead, but Lazarus has time and time again done it back. But Massive with another triple now. This is just getting worse and worse for them, and it's the worst bit is the fact that because they're combining their eliminations every single time and then get even more points. Elimination streak, again, just making things worse. Something is definitely not right here.
Oh, something's very right for Massive. I think that's fair to say. As Lazarus do get 3 down there. Nice little double elim from Romeo. That's what you expect to see. As Infinity gonna run at point A. They take down Lord Mano. Double elim from Deadly. Looks like they got point A under control. But Lazarus have B and C. If they can hold on to B, this could be the comeback that they need.
Yeah, this is the this is a turning point now. This is their time to try and make something happen. Bait that B hill as much as you can, but look at this though, they flanked round and gone round the back of them as well. And even though Excellence has a double, the damage has already been done, and C has been taken still, but at least Lazarus still have B. There's definitely an
A
opportunity
as well. They just swapped, right? They just swapped A for C, so that's not actually so bad for them. As long as, like I said before, as long as they control B, I think they're fine. But look at
4 down.
Look at B, completely swarmed by Infinity. Deadly going to just stall for as much time as he can. Does take down Romeo. Got some perfect aims there from Hale and Deadly.
Yeah, if B control gets taken here, this could be the end of it really, because we know how hard it is to get it back, and we need at least 2, maybe even 3 at this point, because as the points tally up, the frags don't matter as much, especially when it gets closer into the game. But Hale just managed to clutch up with that Blaze Master frag, but as you saw, John Wick gets 2 of his own, sadly gets taken down as he got to trade, but only 100 points left remaining for Infinity here.
I still feel like it is just about on the precipice of being winnable for Lazarus, as they do seem to have 2 points at any given time. But Massive, once again on a roll there. Hale gets a double elimination. It's not going to happen for Lazarus. 18 points to go. Harry, I think this is the end. Lazarus are going to be coming in 4th place in this tournament.
That is right. That was great stuff from Infinity. That was a completely different Infinity compared to what we saw in that last semi-final. And yeah, it just shows that Lazarus maybe have a little bit of work to do.
A lot of work to do. I mean, I can only say that I'm hoping, and I'm sure we'll find out some way by talking to a player or something between now or maybe even at Gotham next weekend. I'm hoping the reason they've underperformed today, and I think it's fair to say they've underperformed, the reason they've underperformed today is because they've spent all of their time getting ready for Gods of Boom next weekend with Divine King, with their full roster, and I hope to see a real display from them.
Yeah, I hope so as well. You know, like, it's just one of those things, really. It's hard when you've got a different player on your team. But John Wick isn't a bad player. He is actually a good player, but we'll have to see how things pan out for this team. But look at some of these points. It was someone else before had 200-something. Deadly with 274 was 16 for us contributed. That was a very quick control point, even though the scores were getting slightly close at the end. But after the start, when we saw those 2 triple limbs and when I saw 4 down at one stage, I was just like, things are just getting worse and worse, and I didn't really see much of a comeback. Even if Lazarus had B and A, it didn't really matter too much, because if they just kept one of the points but had the fragging potential, it didn't really matter. You know, these points add up eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't one-sided by any means.
No.
For the whole game, it did look like Lazarus had a good chance to make a comeback. Let's take a look at the bracket one more time for this cup. And there you go. We have 1 match left for the European Challenger Series not week 5, it's week... What week is it? It's week 4. It's week 4. For week 4. It's going to be back-to-back against Knights of Honor. Yeah, I had to very quickly glance at my notes. That's what happens when you miss one, Harry. Whew.
I know, exactly. That's where your mind just goes completely able. But yeah, we're going to have a great final. It is going to be Knights of Honor versus back-to-back. Back-to-back want that first place spot again. Already in the standings, but they want to show their authority a little bit as we go into the next game.
Yep, we're going to go and get ready for it. But the final game coming up. is the final game of European Week 4 Challenge Cup coming up. My name is Falcone. This is Lethal. And it's Lethal's birthday. Just in case you forgot, it's Lethal's birthday. Happy birthday, Lethal.
Cheers, mate. You know, like I said before, like, where would I rather be on a Saturday night? Yeah, exactly.
With me.
Exactly, with you, of course.
And everyone watching.
That's the important bit.
You'd better be typing happy birthday into the chat. We will be checking later. He'll cry if you don't.
Yeah, I'll be probably really sad in the hotel, and I'll be like, you know, what happened?
You'll have your cake to eat, so I guess.
Yeah, have your cake and eat it, yeah. I forgot about that saying, actually.
It looks so good, the cake.
Oh, I thought you were saying me.
I mean, you as well, but more the cake.
Oh, yeah,
You a little bit.
Oh, cheers, mate.
But like a solid 7.
Oh, okay, I'll take a 7. I'll take a 7.
The cake is a 10.
I'll give myself a
11.
5, I think.
Oh, no, you're a 10, really. I was only joking.
Stop it, you. Stop
But you know who is a 10? These two teams that are just about to be competing. Well, number 1, it's going to be back-to-back up again.
Knights of Honor, yeah.
I just get everything wrong tonight. Back-to-back up against Knights of Honor in the finals. They're playing for prize money. They're playing for points. They are playing for Pro Series Cologne, which is going to take place in August. And back-to-back, already kind of on the top, looking like they're most likely to qualify anyway. But if Knights of Honor can take this one down as well, they are going to be looking really good to qualify themselves.
Yeah, if Knights of Honor win this, Lazarus and Infinity are going to be a little bit worried. At this stage, they're already first and second respectively in their standings, and they're already first and second in this final. What it says is the fact that Lazarus and Infinity have a lot more work to do, and I feel like those two teams, which came third and fourth just now, will need to get a couple of finals in their belt to actually catch up. But we'll see what happens. That was the past. We're back in the present, as we can see. Map number 1 will be again on Skyscrapers between back-to-back and Knights of Honor.
Okay, Killing Machine Nokia getting the start they need there. 41-0. But T-Mac and Dobar with a double elim making a comeback. Evens out the sides entirely. Dobar gets another... Oh, no. He didn't get the other elim there. It looked like he got the assist. Mix takes down Dobar. Things are very, very even right now. Someone needs to just get that little double elim or something to get ahead.
Yeah, both these teams being super aggressive in their last semi-final. And to watch these teams match up, it's going to be a battle of game sense and how things will go there. But Gonzo with a double was looking for that triple, managed to get the shot off, but sadly didn't get the frag behind it. But back-to-back in a very nice lead here, just trying to do whatever they can to try and annoy the opposition as much as they can. Good nade from him, but instead, Notorious managed to take him down and then got traded there by Gonza.
Yeah, Mix and Gonza both getting elims there. Gonza does get taken down by Dobar. It looked like he was going to do a lot of work there and maybe create some sort of significant lead. As Notorious kind of on his own here. Going to try and get into the center room. Does face down Nokia with a little bit of assistance there. And oh, what's happened? Killing Machine running away? Oh, Killing Machine's taking a lot of damage there, but does just about get that elim. Gonza gets a double as well.
So important. Gonza with pretty much a triple. He didn't come up, but that was just due to this time restraint of when he got that third frag. But he pretty much got one anyway. But T-Mac managed to get one of his own. Gonza with elimination streak, just making things making matters worse for the side of Knights of Honor. But the double Blade Master from Dobar is definitely going to help him out here, as that's 3 down for back-to-back.
Yeah, T-Mac getting that elim as well. Can they get Killing Machine? Yes, but only after Killing Machine takes down T-Mac and Dobar with the G-Launcher. That seemed pretty important, and now Gonza and Migs getting their own eliminations. Gonza got control of the center room there. Nokia going to find T-Mac from behind. Can he get the damage in without being spotted? Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. If that G-Launcher came in properly, that would have been 3 members in that blast radius, but doesn't matter. Damage has been done. Knights of Honor have got that top mid control again, but back-to-back need to try and find an answer to see what they can do. But this could be a good time to maybe have a stalemate situation, but back-to-back are like, nope, not at all. We're going to have 3 members go through top mid, and that's it going through. Managed to take out 1, managed to take out 2, and Killing Machine managed to get the final one to get back that vital map control and making matters worse now for Knights of Honor.
Killing Machine still at full health as well. Gonna sneak around, it looks like, and try and delay Knights of Honor. Look at that. Merciless there. He gets the elimination on Dobar. Can he find Notorious as well? Yes, he can. That's a double elimination. There's T-Mac. T-Mac does escape around the corner just in time. He does deal a little bit of damage to Dobar there, but does get taken out by T-Mac. Well, that was a really sweet play.
That was great stuff. I mean, Knights of Honor. Killing Machine is known for his sniping abilities and his movement, and that was a pure example as why he's one of the best snipers in the Guns of Boom scene. But as we see now, back-to-back, only need one, maybe two more frags, but as I say, that map number 1 has been done and dusted as back-to-back take map number 1 on Skyscrapers already.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive display. Again, I wouldn't have called it particularly one-sided,
No.
but there was some very clear, very good moves from several players from back-to-back there, especially the Killing Machine play we were just talking about at the end there, sneaking around behind the other members of the team, getting those snipes one at a time. It was like methodical as well. It was like, there's a snipe, okay, there's a second one, okay, could get him, nope, Dobar's there. Hits him, doesn't quite get the triple limb, but still, it was some pretty good work.
No, that was a great play from Killing Machine. That was actually the game changer as well to consistently make sure. It was basically a move Killing Machine did to solidify that win. So he noticed that they had Atomic control, and Killing Machine probably thought to himself, well, if there's an opening around the bottom mid side of their spawn, then that's a great opportunity for him to risk. He might as well risk it. He didn't really have too much HP anyway. So he thought to himself, well, do you know what? I'll get the flank going. I'll snipe from across the map just to make sure he can get something done as much as he could so that the other 3 members could then push in, clean up, and that was exactly what he did. Great stuff.
Great stuff indeed. Now the big question is, can back-to-back keep this momentum going, or are Knights of Honor going to start to make a comeback? I believe the next map is going to be Saloon, which does mean King of the Hill, my favourite. Can't wait to see that. And it's going to be a question of which team can control that one capture point the best. Control it, get into those good positions on the sidelines, and do a great job of defending it.
Yeah, King of the Hill has always been a little bit of a weird one. Saloon is one of the more open ones. Well, not as open as Paradise Island, but with this one, it's going to be quite interesting because there's so many different ways on Saloon you can actually bait the hill. If people are not too sure what it is, so with control point, obviously with the 3 control points there, it's very hard to try and bait them because it's so hectic and messy. You're more trying to take theirs to kind of distract them rather than bait your own. But with King of the Hill, baiting is so important. Like you saw it before in the last match where you would get one player behind the bar, one on top Saloon, just kind of letting them have the hill or make them think that they can actually grab it no problem, when actually they're just using it as a distraction, of course, to then get the damage done and then try and survive another wave. That's kind of like the turning point there.
Yeah, I think when you come into Guns of Boom as a newer player, you don't necessarily realize the amount of mind games that can go into competitive gameplay. I mean, there was one play earlier, I forget who it was, potentially Excellency in the Lazarus series, where you said he had excellent game sense because he was like dodging around this corner, just trying to stay alive and prevent the triple limb from the other side. And just stuff like that, when you factor in a control point and how you can manipulate that and use the cover, there's a lot of very smart plays these players can make, as it looks like we are jumping in to game number 2 of this series. Can we get the 2-0 from back-to-back? Let's see.
Yeah, that's one thing I love doing, is elaborating on the very small plays which make a big difference. And as we say, a big difference already. 3 down already for back-to-back. 4 down now. And so far, Knights of Honor couldn't ask for a better start here. As I say that, Nokia takes him down with a G-launcher.
Yeah, well, now the trades are coming in. The battle for the point begins as Dobar looks like he's getting teamed up on. Double limb from Gonza there. Back-to-back seem to be in control. Killer Machine does take down Johnny. Goodness knows how he did that. It looked like he definitely should have been eliminating himself there. Gets a snipe to follow up with. Really taking advantage of the tiny amount of health that he's got left. And now it looks like back-to-back are holding on to point A. Oh, was that double?
Yeah, that was a double. It
was a double explosive.
That's one thing you do not want, is giving Killing Machine that bottom mid control. If you go on the cart spare and he stands there, it's going to be hell to pay, as Killing Machine can do so much work. But a double elimination from Team Mac to bring things up a little bit, but they do have the point back and the lead. But will they survive this next wave? I'm not too sure.
Team Mac trying to use that sniper that does get taken out by Nokia. Notorious takes out Migs, and now again the battle for point A begins. Nokia does take out Dobar. It looks like back-to-back have got it. Yes, they do have control again. Can they hold on to it? As Nokia trying to find Notorious, but Notorious just evading him. Does get him down eventually. Now Jani has taken the point one more time.
Lead still in favour of Knights of Honor so far. Not Not a comfortable one, but one nonetheless. As you can see now, Gonza's trying to get something done. He was actually losing that fight, but managed to take him down. But look at this, Gonza's still alive, and finally gets taken down by T-Mac. But T-Mac may go down after this elimination streak, which he does. And now this is a chance for Back2Back to try and get something done here. They have that bottom mid controlled. Killing Machine, like I said before, loves that bottom mid spot, but needs to push him for the hill. Finally he does finally gets him taken down. Gonza with a double of himself as well. But this is Back2Back's opportunity to try and overtake the lead.
Yeah, I mean, Back2Back are getting all the eliminations now. There's really not much in it, though, as Knights of Honor are just trying to stay ahead. Back2Back have the point, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last as 3 members of Knights of Honor all appear. Killing Machine does take down Dobar, but Johnny going to fight Nokia there, does get taken down.
And as you can see now, some of these players, the abuse you see with bottom mid, the vending machine, piano as well, the small structures you see there is helping them so much, and they're making every part of the geometry of the map so well. And as you can see there, Dobar gets one. Dejani gets a second for himself, but instead gets taken down, mixed with a double elim, but T-Mac gets to trade, and T-Mac gets a double for himself before getting taken down by Killing Machine.
Killing Machine gets that sniper out. He wants to continue that little streak as Nokia does take down Notorious. Killing Machine does get Jani with the SMG there. Nokia try and get Dobar, it's so close. Gonna shoot to target to T-Mac, gets taken out unfortunately. And now Knights of Honor do just about have control of this game as Jani's gonna grab that point or not. Double elim from Gonza. This could just go either way, Harry.
This is neck and neck. There's not many 2 points left now. And Gonza's pushed straight in. He's literally, that could be the game changer. And finally, Dobar's trying to get something done. They do get 2, but so far they've got the point, and Back2Back managed to take map number 2. But that play by Gonza, just delaying the inevitable as much as he could to keep the members of Knights of Honor at bay. That was a great play.
What a game, Harry. Like, you could not call that one. Knights of Honor were so ahead right up until the very end where Back2Back did just about manage to make that comeback. That was some exciting stuff, but the score is now 2-0 with Back2Back being 1 game away from once again taking the entire cup.
Yeah, there were so many good plays. I think 2 massive plays you saw there was Killing Machine with the snipe. Even though he was quite weak, he will go from bottom mid and then he'll back off to his side of the vending machines just to make sure he can be as far back as possible, but make it just out of range of maybe like the Odin or the Incinerator, whatever ARs they have, but enough for him to actually snipe him and keep him back, which is exactly what he did. He did it on 3 or 4 separate occasions, but that was absolutely huge. And Gonza at the end just pushing straight in, catching Knights of Honor off guard because it was actually so close to the end. Knights of Honor had to rush. They had to go full pelt into the middle of the map. Gonza knew that was going to happen, so he decided to get behind him and just make matters worse.
Yeah, it was very well thought out through and through. Again, they were so behind at the beginning. They needed to make that comeback, and they did make that comeback, and it was glorious.
It was.
I really thought we were going to have a one-on-one. I'm a little bit disappointed we don't. It's obviously a little bit nicer when we do see a little bit of closer games happening, especially in the grand finals, but I think it would also be very cool on this occasion if Back2Back do take that 3-0, just based on how close the last game was, because they've by no means got it guaranteed. This could be close.
Yeah, Knights of Honor have more than enough potential. In the previous series, you could kind of tell that, yeah, it was leading more towards one of the better teams. But this one, Knights of Honor do have the opportunity, do have a chance, but they're going to be worried about the next 3 maps. I'm not too sure what the maps are at the moment, but I think the main thing is the fact that if they see one of Back2Back's better maps already, maybe in the next 1 or 4 and 5, then they may be a little bit deflated or making the assumption that it may not go their way. But like you said before, Knights of Honor have been doing really, really well, but the problem is Back2Back are just that little bit better.
They seem to be today anyway. Then again, calling a team, I think, like objectively better is kind of hard in Guns of Boom. Although, yes, there's a very wide skill gap. We're always talking about it, and that skill gap does matter. It's amazing to me how these teams can find little edges in unsuspected places, whether it's a game mode that one team prefer or are better at, or a map that a team's more proficient at, etc., etc. I find that pretty fascinating, and we're going to have to see if Knights of Honor can find their edge against Back2Back now. It's going to be control point one more time.
Yeah, this could be our final map of the EU side of things, unless Knights of Honor can try and get some kind of reverse sweep going here. But what a way to start things off. 3 down straight away for Back2Back, but Killing Machine just trying to be their fawn at the moment, just sitting back and trying to get as much damage done as he can.
And for the triple
Maybe
cap.
gets taken down, and yes, it could be a trip cap here.
No, B is being taken back by back-to-back, and that's going to be important. B is the important one to take. No, Knights of Honor did hold on to B. It's A that got taken back by back-to-back in the end.
Yeah, it's weird. Knights of Honor have always had such a great start, and you know they hold the lead so consistently, but it's always towards the end that makes matters a little bit worse. But that was a great elimination from there. The Johnny will get taken down eventually from the afterburn.
Just outplayed Killing Machine entirely. Just outshot him. Just really well played.
Yeah, it's going back and forth at the moment. Back-to-back still have the opportunity to try and get something done here, but as they lose B, they got C as well, but they have got B back as well, so they're in a fantastic spot. They just need to bait these 2 control points, let them have A, but so far they're like, no, we want to trip cap, we want to try and be as much of a pain in the backside as possible, and they're getting the job done.
He's so greedy, as T-Mac does sneak up behind Gonza. It does get taken down by Killing Machine, though. As Killing Machine going to capture point A by the looks of things, but they've got a lot of work to do. They need to focus on getting B or C at least. And the little team up there with Johnny getting the Blade Master. Gonza and Mix taking down Notorious and Dobar, though. Maybe this is back-to-back's chance. Nokia takes down Johnny. No, it's just 2 back and forth at the moment. T-Mac does get double elim there. A lot of points.
Yeah, that was a shame earlier. We saw Killing Machine with his scout out because of the fact that he wanted to get a bit more speed to go towards B, but he had a scout at the same time, so he didn't get a chance to get a shot off. But it doesn't matter anyway, because as you can see, Knights of Honor are 3 down now, maybe 4 if they get T-Mac down, and they do. That's all 4 down now. This is an opportunity to trip cap and keep him at bay, which they have done. And Knights of Honor aren't in a great spot right now.
The points are going to be flowing like crazy in back-to-back's direction now if they can just hold on. They are losing point A, though, as Gonza does take down T-Mac, but he's got to do a lot more work than that. Gonza running towards point A. Can he put a stop to Johnny's streak there?
It could be, as you can see from there. They've got back A, so they've got a little bit of leadway to try and help him out. But Killing Machine, with that elimination streak, just trying to keep him back further and further, but his sniping, his incinerator has been so good thus far as back-to-back are now ahead by just over 130 points.
It's significant. None of the points, apart from of C, are like properly captured by one team there. They're fighting over B and A at the same time. Little trade there between Dobar and Gonza as Killing Machine gets taken down by Notorious. T-Mac. T-Mac barely takes any damage there at all. T-Mac gonna get the G-Launcher out. Don't think it did all that much. It did damage Mix, and he did get to finish off the elim there. That's not so bad. Oh, double elim.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, he did a little bit of damage. I think he was hoping for a lot more, but as you saw there, double elimination from Killing Machine. Triple elimination. It came a little bit late for me. I do apologise, but now he's trying to get behind Dobar now. Sally doesn't take him down, but managed to get a bit more damage done before he gets downed and out anyway. But this contestation for B, it's so important for Knights of Honor. They're really trying here, but I'm not too sure. It might just be a little bit too late.
2 down there for Knights of Honor, 3 down for Knights of Honor. They need to make the comeback right now. They don't have any time left. Back-to-back are just about to take this one down. Killing Machine and Gonza do get the elim on T-Mac there. And Gonza's dancing. The game is over. Back-to-back going to take the entire cup.
Back-to-back, a complete clean sweep from all members of that team. A 2-0 and then a 3-0 into a final. This is the back-to-back I've seen in the past. That's the raw passion and the aggression and the lack of fear they have to actually go into a tournament. And you saw this cup meant everything to him. And look at Nokia's assists. Ignore the 3 and 10, 13 assists. He did so much damage for this team. And even that's what I mean. Sometimes assists don't get credited enough, but what he did there was more than enough to help the side of back-to-back.
Yeah, it can't be overstated. Like, it's very important to have assists, especially in Guns of Boom, where assists can be setting up teammates for double eliminations, for triple eliminations. And these battle achievements, they get you so many points in all game modes. It's not like some other FPSs where, you know, you only get points for eliminations in Team Deathmatch or Slayer or whatever. No, you get points for eliminations in all game modes. It's always a bonus. And those elimination streaks, triple eliminations, etc., they are worth so many points.
It's too much to count, but you saw there as well, Killing Machine 13 and A. He went off the last couple of maps. Don't get me wrong, he did well in the semi-final, but he really showed up in this final, which was really needed. And for the standings, when we have a closer look in a second, we're going to see now that back-to-back have extended it to a point where it's not that they're comfortable, but there's a lot less pressure for them. As long as they stay consistently top 4 or maybe get one more final under their belt, they should be looking quite good for that Pro Series in Cologne.
Well, if you just joined us, too bad. You've missed the whole tournament. Let's take a look at the bracket so that we can spoil the results for you. There you go. Back-to-back. Did win the whole thing. All 2-0s and 3-0s today. No close series whatsoever, although a lot of the games were quite close.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I expected the first semi-final to be like, go all the way to map 3. I expected the final to be at least a map 4. And, it's not often we get a lot of clean sweeps. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But it's been a while since we haven't. But in this case, it just shows back-to-back's complete and utter dominance. But it also shows that Lazarus do have a little bit of work to do with John Wick to try and actually qualify for that Pro Series spot.
Yeah, it's going to be tough now, I think, for Lazarus. Let's take a look at the standings now so we actually know exactly where they do stand. They're in third, but they are a whopping 70 points behind second. If Knights of Honor continue playing in these tournaments, which of course they will be, that's going to be a real tough climb for Lazarus. And they're only ahead of Infinity by 15 points.
And one thing to take into account as well, when you do actually qualify for the Pro Series in Germany, if you get the first seed in EU or NA, you start in the semi-finals straight away. So you get a bye for that top 4 spot and the prize money straight away. So back-to-back, they're not going to feel comfortable. And that's why I'm saying there's still a little bit of pressure on them because they want to go into it as number 1 seed to show their pure dominance of how good they are at this game. But like you said before, 70 points behind, 85 points behind as well for Infinity. They've got a bit of work to do, but I feel like they need to at least get to your final minimum of twice, or maybe somehow you got Knights of Honor just drop out of nowhere.
Now, the bad news is that we are finished with the Europe Cup for the day. But the good news is that Harry does not get to go home and celebrate his birthday just yet, as we are going to do the Cup for the Americas region very soon. So stick around. We'll be back with America's Guns a Boom after this.